Today we will be learning about speed, velocity, and acceleration. What is goals for today's class? Today's class goals are learn the difference between speed, velocity, and acceleration. We're also going to be looking at the equations for this concept, so I expect you guys to look over them and practice them so we could learn them. What is speed? The distance an object travels per unit of time. How do we calculate speed? Speed is calculated when you divide distance over time. Example: if the baseball that Bart hit traveled 49 meters in 5 seconds, what is the speed of the ball? Well, what do we know? We know the time traveled and we know the time. So we're gonna work this out to see what the speed is of the ball. So we have our equation set up as distance over time, distance being 49 meters and time being 5 seconds. When you divide 49 and 5, you get 9.8, which gives us a speed of 9.8 meters per second. Moving on, what is velocity? Velocity is the speed with a direction. Now, speed and velocity can be similar, but they're not the same. The difference is that speed does not have a direction, like it's just calculating the traveled over the time, like how much time it took to get there. But velocity has a certain direction, if it's going west, or it's going south, or it's going north, or northeast, northwest. Therefore, the velocity and speed have more or less the same equation, which is distance over time, and that's how we calculate velocity. An example: Santa's little helper was caught running west, covering 64 meters in 50 seconds. Calculate the velocity of Santa's little helper. Well, again, we know that Santa's little helper was running west, covering 64 meters, and it took him 50 seconds. What do we want to know? Well, we want to know the velocity, so we're going to set up our equation. Our equation is set up distance over time, which is 64 meters over 50 seconds, which is equal to 1.28 meters per second. Finally, we have acceleration. What is acceleration? Acceleration is the rate at which velocity changes. How do we calculate acceleration? Well, acceleration is calculated different than speed and velocity. Acceleration is calculated by first calculating the change in velocity, then divided by time. So for this, we're gonna use v for final velocity and u for initial velocity. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna subtract final velocity from initial velocity and divide it by the time. An example here will be: a roller coaster car rapidly picks up speed as it rolls down a slope. As it starts down the slope, its speed is 4 miles per second. But 3 seconds later, at the bottom of the slope, its speed is 22 miles per second. What is the car's acceleration? What we know is, again, the speed that started, which is its initial speed, and the final speed, and the time. So let's find out the acceleration.